Well, hi there, folks. It's Clocking The Gallop, and you joining us ahead of the Lexus Melbourne Cup, which is always run on the first Tuesday in November, and that is tomorrow. So this is coming to you the day before. I'm joined by some very good friends and some folk that are down in Australia, ex-South Africans that are plying their trade there. Firstly, I want to welcome Keagan Latham back. The last time we spoke to Keagan, I think he was dealing with his injuries and he was about to become a dad. Well, time has passed on, and he still hasn't got any hair, which means that since he's become a dad, that hair hasn't grown back, which is not surprising. Keagan Latham, welcome back to the show. Nice to have you on.
Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot, Nico. It's great being back. Thankfully, over the injuries that I had, and back into winning ways again, and even more so, I'm winning every time I come home every night because I've got a beautiful little girl, and no matter how bad a day can be, she lights up a laugh when we come home.
That's it. When you have kids, that's exactly what is meant to happen, and that's the feeling that you're meant to have. So welcome to Eleanor to the crowd. We'd like to see you at some stage when we speak to you next time out, preferably Definitely. After a nappy change, which I'm sure you now, which now I'm sure that you're quite good at doing.
Yeah, well, I'll be honest with you, my Mrs. Nancy, she takes a lot of the brunt off of me with me racing all the time and, constantly battling the scale. But thankfully that she's an absolute superstar sleeper, so we can all have our 10 hours every night.
Great stuff. And Gareth Pepper's a regular now on the show. Gazza joins us from, you're at a hotel this morning because you've got some wonderful scenery behind you. It's the evening there, so you must be ready for a lemonade or three.
Well, I've got my younger brother Michael here. It's his second last night here, and we celebrated. It was a nice birthday weekend, so I was hurting this morning, but tonight we will have a half pace on the beach, 600, and tomorrow is his last night. We'll be doing a full gallop. So. Staying in Sydney, Shangri-La with my brother and his beautiful family. Just enjoying the city, Nico. The weather has turned, finally. You can ask Keags.
Absolutely. Has the rain stopped now?
Yeah, Keags, luckily, he's got a permanent swimming cap on. So, but the rest of us, the rain stopped. We had a beautiful weekend, and let's hope it lasts for a long time. And I can't believe it. The Melbourne Cup's here already.
Yeah, it's here again, and it runs 6 a.m. South African time on Tuesday morning. So we're all breathing a horse. So tell us what you're feeling.
I think it's David Payne, Montefilia, the mare, I should say, that you and I have known well. We've tipped her a few times, Nico. She hasn't disappointed. I think all things point to her. Great prep. Wouldn't it be wonderful for our very own David Payne to lift that beautiful Lexus Melbourne Cup? And Jason Collett, who I'm sure I know Keagan probably can tell you more about Jason, but gun rider, great mare, fantastic record, 10-1, you can't get hurt. I want David Payne to win the Melbourne Cup tomorrow.
Well, I think all of us do. David is a wonderful man. And, as you know, he's trained many, many feature race winners. This has been an absolute gem in his yard, hasn't it, Keagan? I mean, Montefilia has done him so proud. We'd all want something with a South African take on it to win the Melbourne Cup so we can brag about South African winning in Australia.
Well, yeah, there's no doubt. I think Herman and Martha Cock have run well in the race before, but David Payne's been here for quite a few years now, so he's definitely well seasoned and knows what it takes to win these Group 1s. He's done an outstanding job with Montefilia. I think she's had a great prep in order to win the Melbourne Cup. A couple of cracking runs and very, very good races. I mean, her last run, she probably would have gone very close to winning had she had an uninterrupted run in the Caulfield Cup. I'm going to have to agree with Gareth. I think that she's definitely up there with my top 4. I think and like I say, David's obviously an incredible trainer, and Jason's a good friend of mine. He only lives 500 meters down the road from me. So I would love to be able to have a night out in the town with a Melbourne Cup in one hand and probably a Sharpie in the other.
Well, the fillies have a tremendous record in this race. When we think about Makybe Diva and her exploits over the years, I mean, so good fillies and decent fillies can win over. And even here in South Africa in staying races, fillies can hold their own.
Yeah, and also like Very Elegant won it last year.
That's right.
I mean, geez, just for David Payne, I'd love it, and for Jason College, who I've had the pleasure of meeting a couple of times. I just like her, Nico. But you know, it is the Melbourne Cup; they're all in with the shout.
Now, look, it's always a big field. I know that there's potentially a couple more that may come out in the next 24 hours or so, but let's go into the field a little bit more, Keagan. Do you want to give us a few names that you've shortlisted that we could potentially look at for our Clocking the Gallop viewers?
Yeah, definitely. So I like duets. I think Ed Cummins is obviously the grandson of the great Bart Cummins, who was pretty much recognised as the king of the Melbourne Cup. Hugh Bowman's back on board. He's riding out of his skin, and he has done for the last 2 decades. He's in top form at the moment. This filly also she was kind of pretty much alongside Montefilia in the Melbourne Cup, but she had to come far and wide, and she was really working through the line. I think that the 3,200 meters will probably suit her slightly better than Montefilia. She's a multiple Group 1 winner already. She had a very good prep her last prep, winning a couple of the Sydney Cup and a couple of other big races. And with Hugh Bowman on board, and like I say, he's still a youngish trainer, but he's had the mentoring from his great his grandfather and also his father as well, and Anthony Cummins. And I think that's also one of my top fours. I think that she's had a soft few runs her last few outings, and I think that they've prepped her for this race as her actual day to be her most competitive.
Yeah, I'm just looking at her. She's at $26 there, as opposed to Montefilia's 10. What else from your side?
I mean, you got to respect obviously the favourites. Doval Legend. He's a proven stayer, very young horse. Kieran McAvoy's won, I think, 2 or 3 not Group 1s, Melbourne Cups already. So he knows what it takes to win it. It's a tough task for a 3-year-old, but there was a horse that Kieran McAvoy won the Melbourne Cup a few years ago for Charlie Appleby in the blue colours of Godolphin. That was also a 3-year-old. So it's not out of the question. He's also one of my definite picks, purely because I know that Kieran McAvoy knows exactly what it takes to win a Melbourne Cup. And I actually also like Craig Williams' horse as well, with Gay Waterhouse, Hu Yamal, who's also got a very similar form line to Doval Legend over in Europe. He was only a length and a bit behind it in the Chester Cup. And I think those are also for me, those are my 2 international horses that can go very close in the race as well.
Gareth, the profile of Australian horses is that they really want to try and breed the top sprinters. Middle distance, they've got a few. Stayers, it's a bit weak, as is the story in South Africa. They don't breed good stayers. So the tendency has been pinhook, effectively. Go out and buy yourself a good enough stayer overseas in Europe, bring it here, and that's how they win. That's how they win the Melbourne Cup these days. That's the ready-made recipe. So in that mold, who are the top flight international horses that have been purchased or that have come across that make your shortlist?
Well, I saw your mouse hovering over number 13, Serpentine.
Yes, it was.
The Derby, he won the Epsom Derby in 2020.
That's right.
Galileo. He was off the boil for a long time. He's my 3rd choice in the race, Nico. His last run was that of a horse that's coming back to form. They've gelded him. He lost his way completely. But if you go down, you'll see that he ran 2nd at Flemington over 2,500 meters in his last start. And Lloyd Williams, I mean, Keagan can tell you, if anyone's going to win the Melbourne Cup again, it's Lloyd Williams. That man is the luckiest man in Australia when it comes. He's in association with Coolmore, of course. But this horse, I mean, look at his form. Second last time out, but before that, 10th, 9th, 15th, 12th. I know he only ran on Saturday, and it's a big ask coming to Tuesday. But this is, for me, one of those horses. He's got an exceptional pedigree. He's 60-1. He's that sort of roughie that would shock and win, and a couple of people would put him in, and I'm putting him in. He's my third choice. And then one of the others, Nico, that I really do like is the 19 Smoking Romans. Jamie Carr's riding this horse, Smoking Romans. Grade 1 winner 2 starts back. Excuse me. And he's a 6-year-old. Kieran Marr, David Eustace, wonderful stable. 7th last time out, 16-1. Jamie Carr, 51.5 kilos. Very well in at the weights, at the ratings, with 114 as a rating, coming in with 51.5. I think Smoking Romans will be there for sure. And I keep mentioning that Jamie Carr is an absolute superstar and talented rider, and Keagan, I'm sure, will tell you, whatever she throws a leg over, just they run for her.
Yeah, okay, that's Smoking Romans, number 19. Just going back to Serpentine, yes, the reason why, I saw the colours, so I knew that was Lloyd Williams' horse. I see the one at the bottom has been scratched, Point Nepean, or I don't know if that's the way you pronounce it, Nepean. That was also his, but I don't see his colours. He normally has a lot more representation here, Keagan, Lloyd Williams.
Yes, he does. He does normally have a lot more reputation. Unfortunately, that one was only just scratched a couple of hours ago. Point Nepean. I'm more than sure that Wayne Lorden and Irish Jockey would have already have touched down here when that got scratched. And there was also a few more other horses in the race that were very fancied horses. I know J Mac was riding one, and obviously the famous Damien Oliver, who's a multiple Melbourne Cup winning jockey. His run also got scratched earlier this week. So there's a few fancy that have come out, but it obviously gives the rest of them a chance. And I think it'll be a very, very competitive race this year.
Okay, well, that said, I think, just from a gut feel, we're hoping for Montefilia. I think that one for us would be the cherry on the top for trainer David Payne to really top off his career. Just before we go to Keagan chatting about his ride at Randwick tomorrow, you mentioned possibly, Gareth, that in this next race, the race that is after the Melbourne Cup, that there could be a ready-made banker on the card. What is that?
That's number 6, Minsk Moment, James McDonald and Chris Waller, the dream team. I just really like this horse. Looked at the form, great win last time out. And anything, again, J-Mac throws his leg over, is worth a ride, but very competitive whole day. And I think that's the one I'm going to bank everything around, is Minsk Moment. And obviously my cash, I can tell you now, Nico, there was a bookmaker in Australia who was offering 101 to 1 on every horse in the Melbourne Cup as a promotion. And you could only put on $10. And I put my $10 on Montefilia tomorrow.
Okay, well, that's brilliant. So there's your banker then. That race is post Melbourne Cup. That's race 8. It runs at 10 to 7 in the morning South African time. I'll be on the school run, but I'll be looking out for Minsk Moment, number 6 there for Gareth and the selections there. Okay, back to Keagan to end off. And Keagan, you've got a ride tomorrow. It's at Randwick. So tell us what you're riding, and tell us the name of the race. You were telling me before we started recording the name of the race, and it's a brand new race on the calendar, and Frankie Dettori's in town.
Yes, he is. He's in town, which is fantastic. Peter Villani's is the Racing New South Wales CEO, so he knows exactly how to market the game, and I think it's quite something for Frankie to be in town. He was here on the weekend in the Golden Eagle riding a European horse, and they've got him to stay for a race called the Big Dance, which is a new concept. It's pretty much, there's country racing all over New South Wales, and there's 25 main ones, and if you run first or second in these country cups, you're eligible for this $2 million race tomorrow. So over the past 12 months, there's been 25 winners, and all 25 of those winners are pretty much in tomorrow's race. I think there's a max of 20 runners with 4 acceptances. 4 emergencies. Thankfully, one of the horses that I'm riding won the Bathurst Cup quite well. He's probably a little bit out of the weight, but he's a horse that goes really well. He's a bit of a keen guy, so I'll be up on the speed. There'll probably be plenty of speed in the race. But hopefully, these kinds of $2 million races, if you can't ride to win, you try to ride the best possible placing. And I think that when you can ride in the best possible placing, there's a lot of prize money involved, and a massive prize money breakdown. And hopefully you can go really well.
Okay, so I'm just trying to find it. What number is it?
It is race 5.
Oh, it's in race 5. Okay, so I've gone to the race. Okay, so race 5. I just want to quickly chat to you because I saw a name here that I want to chat to you. I mean, isn't it fantastic for Jeff Lloyd's boys to be doing really well? Now, I wanted to get Jeff on the show, but I want him to get him on when he's got both his boys there with him, both Jaden and Zach sitting with him, because I think it's a crackerjack of an interview that we've got planned. And I've been trying to set it up with Nicola for a while, because it's just wonderful to see the next Lloyd generation riding, Keagan. From your perspective, I mean, you would have seen these kids growing up.
Yeah, most definitely. I mean, I remember going to Jeff's house a couple of times when he lived in Mount Edgecombe in Umhlanga, and Zach and Jaden were only lighties back then, and it's actually quite funny that you talk about Zach. He had his this weekend. He had his first Saturday Metropolitan winner, and then he ended up doubling up, winning a $500,000 race as well. So he's really hit the ground running here in Sydney. Myself and him go to a lady's house just up the road to go do some gym workouts occasionally. So he's got his head screwed on. He's obviously a very talented rider, and why wouldn't you be when you're the son of the great Jeff Lloyd? And I think that Jaden's just come back from a long suspension, so he was just beat in the Queensland Apprentice Championship, and he's definitely a force to be reckoned with up there.
Well, that's fantastic stuff. So there we go. We can see Keagan Latham's name up on the screen. It's Cognac number 9. And we would definitely have a few bucks on that. It's $61. So we'd love you to win, and we'd love to be shouting and screaming all over the place about you winning that and beating Dettori's mount. Yeah, he rides Hosier number 5, but that is the race 5. It's 20 past 5, so it is before the Melbourne Cup, and that's called the Big Dance, and it's over 1,600 meters. That just about puts the lid on it, guys, for today. Again, my eternal thanks to you, Gareth, for contacting us and keeping us up to pace with what's happening down under. And to Keagan, we wish you all the best. It's great to see you back in one piece and smiling and enjoying life again. And guys, just thank you so much. We just hope for a big South African day over in Australia tomorrow.
That's it. Yeah. Thank you for having me as always, Nico. And I'll be in the city with some very good friends of mine and taking my brother for his first Melbourne Cup experience, and pray for him because he flies home the next day on a 12-hour flight, and I will almost guarantee he will be hurting. So good luck to him.
Okay, so nothing to sneeze at as far as the Pepper family is concerned. Keagan, just on your side, just all the best, mate. Just with fatherhood and with your riding and getting these great opportunities. I know you'll do us proud there, as you always do, but it's always great catching up with you.
No, I really appreciate it, Nico. It's actually quite nice. I picked my parents up this morning from the airport. They've just flown in from the UK, so it's nice to have them for a couple of weeks here and take them to Randwick tomorrow for the Melbourne Cup experience as well. And really been happy to be doing well, getting back into the swing of things, and I appreciate you guys having me on the show again.
Great stuff. That's Keagan Latham and Gareth Pepper here on Clocking the Gallop. We're very, very happy to have chatted to them, and all the best on the first Tuesday in November, guys. Take it easy.